can see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us snakes. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 834 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter free. I'm Brian, your host, and today is Monday, April 14th, 2025. This morning, I'm enjoying a fresh cup of Brian's Blend from foodforestfarms.com because life's too short for shitty coffee. At Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using a clean Airstream roaster. More than just a customer, your family. Get 10% off with Lots 10. That's code LOTS10, and shipping's always free with Food Forest Farms. While you're there, check out C4 Club for even more awesome perks to go along with your coffee. Today, I have another packed show. I'm wandering around Delinquents Gully to see what all the crazy rain did to the property. My truck issues finally forced a tough decision. I discovered the weird joy of watching dodgeball, pickleball, and ultimate frisbee, and Kori got another garden going out here at the camper. I guess it's our first garden. I don't know. We planted some other stuff last year. I think I did, but Kori is diving in this year. We'll talk a little bit about that. So grab your coffee, smash that like button, and we will talk about all of this soon. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are we doing this morning? Let's see who's checking in. We got John Palmer. Good morning, good day, and good week to you, sir. I'm going to drop the shade here. Sun's going to be coming up, and it's going to shine through there, and that's not going to be good. John Palmer says, good morning, good day, and good week. Mike's Homestead, good morning. Had truck trouble. You aren't the only one. Last Monday at 6:36 a.m. while listening to this show, I pumped 20 gallons of water into my gas tank. That doesn't surprise me with the rain we had around here. Tanks end up taking on water. I don't think mine is a water issue. I actually has crossed my mind just a little bit. But I don't think that's what it is. Hopefully that gets taken care of by the station that you are pumping your water at. Good morning, Chris Dixon. Stopping in for breakfast, headed to the coast to get a couple trucks. Fun. Project trucks, I assume. Good morning, Hunter over on Twitch. How's it going today? Struggling this morning. I process our comfrey orders on Monday mornings, and it was just pushing back a little bit this morning. Everything I wanted to sign into, I needed to add that verification. You know, every once in a while, every so often, you get logged out enough on the computer that you have to do your verification emails. And that was happening on about everything I wanted to log into today. So it was running a little late. I was running just a little late. And zap.stream just doesn't want to work. So anyway. How is... so it's just not... Sorry, guys. I'm going to troubleshoot this just a little bit. It looks like I'm live, but it just doesn't want to work over there on zap.stream. I don't know why it messes with me like this. All right, there it is. And it's coming through on my phone. Oh, there it is. It's popping up. Interesting. I don't know. Well, anyway, guys, let's get to it. It is going to be a good show today. I got a bunch of different stuff to talk about. Friday, I believe it was Friday, I finally got out to Delinquents Gully to walk around to see what why is this here? Man, everything is just a mess this morning. Sorry, guys. Got to walk out to Delinquents Gully, go walk around and check out what all the rain did. We had one large rain event, and I was able to get out after that. It didn't do too bad, and then we had our 3 days of just endless rain I think the one rain event, our friends over, that would be more in line with where the rainfall that they got at the property, not necessarily here, because we seem to have been right on the edge of it. I talked to them when the storms were starting, and they had actual downpours, like buckets of rain coming out of the sky, and we didn't have any moisture at all coming, like no rain at all at that point. And so it would have probably tracked from their place to the gully, which makes sense from what I saw, like large amounts of rain real quick. So they said that one overnight they got 7 inches in that one rain event. So, and then it rained some more the next day and had rain prior. So I'm calling that one, 7 to 10 inches at one time, and then we had gotten blasted by 3 to 4 inches a couple weeks earlier, or a week earlier. So man, lots of inches getting taken by the gully, and wait. Maybe I should open the shade back up. Chris Dixon says, speaking of sun, read an interesting article on how old churches were built facing east. Some thought so the sun was behind the priest and gave them a godly glow. Maybe I should open the window back up and embrace the sunrise and the golden halo behind me. Anyway, we got enough rain fast enough that I didn't want to rut up the access road anymore. Just going back to look. I had stuff to do here. So when I had gone out to get mail, the one person that is actively using the road was actually parked way out by the pavement. They weren't going in and out on it. They drive a Mustang, so I'm not surprised. It blew my mind that they drove that thing in and out anyway. So I gave it a good almost a week to dry out, but I had to get back there. I drove back. The road had dried up quite a bit. It wasn't sloppy at all. It had drained really well, and especially the areas that just got redone, they seemed to drain well, especially for the massive amounts of rain we got. Started walking around the property. I have no idea what that was. Started walking around the property and checking things out. First stop I made was down in the food forest. That's at the bottom of the property. There's a small creek that runs through it. I put up some videos. I put up a couple of separate videos on, I believe, both YouTube and TikTok. I think the longest one only went on TikTok because it was too long to go on YouTube, but put up a video about the food forest and just evidence of how much water came down there so fast and how fast it came down through. We were doing an experiment. I've talked about it here, and I talked about it in the Telegram group. When we installed the food forest in the fall, Kori Brown decided to we're pruning the trees. And since we were pruning them, we decided to put the cuts in the pots that we had just used to plant the trees. We had extra soil, we had the pots, and although it's not ideal to do cuttings and try to cut in rooting cuttings in the fall, we threw them in the pot, see whatever happened. We had a nice little flowing creek down there that we could set the pots in to let them soak up water so they wouldn't dry out, and just kind of do like a little wicking bed in the stream there using the pots. They seemed to work fine. They overwintered all right. The spring, they were showing signs of life. They had some leaves coming in, so a few little buds here and there. Talked to Kori about it. He's like, yeah, that could happen. That doesn't necessarily mean they're rooting. Let's leave them be for a while and see what happens. We had one tip over from some of the rain or melt off over the winter. I picked that up. It was no big deal, and I kind of secured all the pots in slow areas, like in the little crooks and where the shoreline kind of jutted out. I put them in there to protect them a little bit. Well, and I walked down on Thursday or Friday when I went. Friday, I believe. They were gone. All the pots were gone. I was like, what the hell? I mean, the creek, if you've been there, it meanders back and forth pretty good. It kind of winds through the food forest, almost a little straight, and then as soon as it gets about halfway across, it really takes a big turn. Kind of wanders back and forth for a while around a big low boggy kind of a part where I would think that if water is flowing through there, it would just kind of flood over and be a little swampy. They were gone. Like the pots were gone. I'm like, where did these things go? Did something come and take them? What is going on here? And as I was inspecting down there, you could see rock deposits, like small pebbles and rocks and things had deposited along the creek bed. And so I keep looking and I'm like following the creek and I'm like, where did these things go? And I like follow all the way across the food forest, all the way around the big bend past where the swampy part was. I found a big 3-foot log that must have been pushed through there and floated or been pushed by the water all probably a good 50 to 75 feet down the creek. There was washout down into the woods, and as I poked my head down in the woods, there are all my pots that we had our cuttings in, all empty, of course, but sitting down in the woods. And as I looked and I just evaluated how far they traveled and the path they took and the other signs, I just really feel like we got a ton of water down through there all at once. Now, this is at the bottom of the hill. This is at the very bottom of the hill. This is where everything kind of drains down, so it makes sense there was a lot of water there. But it seems like the amount of erosion and the width of the creek down there, you would think that it would be able to handle pretty much everything, but it looked like it spilled out quite a bit. It looked like it flooded out the one side pretty good, but then it all drained away. So lots of water real quick, kind of it funneled to where it should be. The food forest looked fine, like all the trees, all the herbs that we planted, everything that's been gone in there, especially in the fall, looked really good. I think it gave the soil a good dose of hydration. So hopefully we're on a good start for the year. Everything is blossoming. Everything has leaves and it's looking good. So that was the food forest. Took a little bit more walk around. I walked up to our spot and recorded a quick video about the rain catchment system on the shed. It's working really well. The tote is to the rim full. I need more totes. I need more storage or finish the little pond there. The only thing that's going wrong with that is I need to retape the screen. The screen's working really well, and it's taped very well on the roof side. Where I attached it on the bottom, the tape isn't really sticking well to the PVC. Actually, it's not sticking well to the paint on the PVC. So that is a little bit of issue. But the tape I chose is sticking really nice to the roof panels, to the metal panels, and beating in the sun there. I think that it's just permanently affixed. So I need to do a little adjusting on the backside where I pulled the screen over the gutter, over that PVC pipe to filter out all the large solids and get that secured back on the bottom. So that was a win. That handled some pretty rough weather, wind, rain, and the such over the winter there. So I'm happy with that. Walked over and checked out Tim's cabin. The cabin looks good. Things held up there. There was, I mean, again, you could tell there was just a ton of water, but it didn't seem like it did too much trouble with the cabins until I went down and checked out the water catchment system down in the creek, down by the Tim's cabin. what we were using to pump the water up to the cabin. So basically the 55-gallon drum, Chris Dixon says blue truck tape, that stuff sticks to everything. I used some Gorilla tape that it adhered to the metal very well. Yeah, I might have to give some blue tape a try on the underside. So the water system I'm talking about was where we buried a 5-gallon bucket with screen and filtering and everything, and then ran the water through a pipe to a 55-gallon drum that we kind of sunk down in the creek, and it worked great when we first installed it. And then later on in the fall, when we got a significant rain event, the silt kind of threw us for a loop. It plugged the works up. The rush of water, I think, raised our drum a little bit. We were having flow issues, and so I took it apart going into winter to troubleshoot it and fix it in the spring. We weren't going to be using the cabin over the winter. We weren't going to be getting water, and I didn't want it to freeze up, so I just kind of took it apart and left it open to where the water could flow through. If it froze, it froze. It wouldn't really hurt anything. When it came down to inspect it, I'm glad I didn't put it together. I'm glad I didn't put much effort into it in the fall. This washout really did a number down there, and it really it defined kind of what I'm going to have to deal with. I don't think this is an everyday event. This is the 7 to 10 inches in a couple of days is not an everyday thing. I think it's a once a season at most, but it's something that I have to prepare for in these systems that we're setting up in these drainage ditches or drainage gullies. Have to bulk up the collection area, the filtration, and the basically how to dissipate the silt around the collection basin. I have a few ideas. I have some things sketched up. I'd like to get a little higher elevation up the spring, up the creek, closer to where the spring feeds. Maybe get away from a lot of those fine particles finding their way into the collection point. And then if I can get up the creek a little further with a little elevation, not mess around so much with burying the drum. And maybe even be able to get the drum actually out of the water flow, depending on which way we can run the pipe. So the way we put it in was pretty much what had to be done at the time. Well, it's not what had to be done. It's what made sense at the time with the time, resources, energy, and what we wanted to put into it. And it worked. The concept worked. It just needs to be refined a little bit. And I think it'll be great beyond that once everything gets tweaked just a little bit. So, other than that, I did walk down. There was, if you've been out there, there's a tent site. There's a tent camping site, kind of down in the middle of the property. There's a creek that runs by that. That's the same creek that the water catchment is in. And eventually down into the food forest. But just noticing the rock deposits, the sand deposits, and how far the sand just got blown down into the woods really showed how much water came through there all at once. And it was eye-opening for sure. Good morning, Rachel. Thanks for joining me. Rewilder Life. Finally found time to join. Good morning to you. Thanks for coming out. Seeing the rock and the rock deposits in different places, all the sand moved around. It really showed how much water we got. And then the last thing I checked in on our driveway. Driveway held up all right, somewhat. The top of the driveway, the big slope, held up really good, especially since it's not finished at the top. It did have some drainage, runoff ditches. I don't want to say ditches, evidence down the center, but nothing horrible. What did wash out was our culvert. Half the driveway at the culvert kind of kind of melted away, I guess you would say. And that's not surprising. Just looking where it was, I think that whole area got backed up by some deadfall down in the woods. Watching where the sand and the class 5, the chert, whatever you want to call it, ended up in the woods. It was obvious that it got backed up and it was just rushing water and it was pooling. So it was just eating away at the edge by the culvert. And once it started to fall in, it was done. So driveway guy knows that it happened. And I'm not surprised with the amount of water we got all at once. And especially out there looking at everything else, I think we got way more there than we did here. So that's going to get fixed. And it is what it is. I don't think we could get the truck out, in and out at the moment after the damage. And I don't know, he might have been out there this weekend messing around. I didn't go out this weekend. We had other things we had to take care of. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. It was a lot of rain. It was a lot of yeah, Chris Dixon says pretty tough to slow down 7+ inches of rain. It just becomes a repair effort. Minimize damage, I guess, and repair and think about what's going to happen next time. And I think that's exactly what happened. And we weren't there full time. We didn't lose access. We didn't get trapped or stranded. And we know what kind of damage that kind of rain event happened. So it's a win. In my book, it's a win. I think we turned out all right. Guys, just want to let you know that this episode of the Lots Project Morning Show is brought to you by comfreyroots.com. It's April, and that means the BOGO deal is back here in April. Code NoFoolin, NoFoolin, NoFoolin at checkout will double your order of Bocking number 4 comfrey root cuttings. That's twice the plants for the same price. Whether you're building soil, feeding livestock, or healing wounds, the magic starts with comfrey. Visit comfreyroots.com and stock up while the deal lasts. It lasts through the end of April. So about halfway there right now. 14th, yeah, I'm getting there halfway through April, guys. NoFoolin is the code. Buy one, get one. And that works for any of the 3 offerings there. We have single packs, double packs, and 5 packs. So 10, 20, or 50 roots respectively. And you put that NoFoolin code in at checkout, and we'll just double that order. In the cart, it comes up with just one single pack, and it was just the way I had to add the coupon in the website. But we'll double up whatever you order. So no worries there. No worries there. comfreyroots.com to get some great, solid, beyond organic comfrey root cuttings today. So that was Delinquents Gully. Along with Delinquents Gully and all the rain, we've been dealing with our truck. Depressing -4 cheap viewers on streamboo.com. Remove the space, streamboo.com. Don't go there. Don't go there. Hey, Hunter, you want to take care of that over on Twitch if you're still watching? Truck. Our poor truck. If you followed the show much, you know we have a big old 2011 F-250 gas model, and over the last year or so, I've had a gremlin. When it will rain, when it rains, we get a significant rain at all. If the truck doesn't have time to dry out, excuse me. I gotta pour some of this coffee, guys. It's gonna be interesting. You guys ever pour out of one of these stainless mugs, like a mug like this, and then you try to pour out of it? I always just make a fucking mess. But anyway, the truck. When we would get rain, when we get any decent amount of rain, if I try to drive it that day in the rain, later that day after the rain, or the day after maybe, I would get this random misfire. It would misfire on cylinder 4. And from what I could find, it is a semi-frequent issue. Cylinder 4 on those engines sits back under the dash, and something to do with the drainage of the water that accumulates on the windshield. It drips down through and can cause some corrosion or a short or something with cylinder 4. I put the code reader on it. It was cylinder 4 every time, and then it would clear. And if it didn't rain for a while, like last summer, it was 3 months. We didn't have rain. It was fine. It never caused a problem. It would rain. It would come. It would appear. I inspected it. I couldn't really find anywhere where I thought water was getting. It was just kind of one of those things. It was clearly a misfire. It would chug a little bit, and then it would dry out, and things would be fine. And it was almost to the point where you could drive it, and once you got to speed, the wind or whatever, it felt like it would almost dry it out and have that short go away. And this was happening, when it would rain. And then it didn't happen for a long time. And it was one of those things where I didn't want to go take it to the garage because it wasn't always happening. And I've, those chasing gremlins, chasing issues that are only there under certain conditions. There's a lot of money to be wasted tracking down things like that. So I kept looking at it. I kept trying to catch it in the act, I guess is one way to put it. But it was almost to where it was a non-issue if we didn't drive when it rained. And at some point, it needed to get fixed. Well, we got the big couple of rain events here, and the truck started giving more and more trouble. So I put the code reader back on it, and somehow the misfire has changed cylinders, and it's not intermittent anymore. It is, but it's way more consistent and persistent. So I finally made the decision. We're gonna go at least. We're gonna get the plugs changed, plugs and wires on the truck, and see if that changes anything. I did consider, like Mike Homestead said, water in the gas, but I don't think that would necessarily only affect one cylinder. And now it's just cylinder 8. So the fact that it is more consistent and it's not only when it rains, I'm gonna go get the plugs changed, and I needed an oil change anyway. So I was gonna do the plugs myself, and realized that I didn't want to deal with a broken spark plug or a seized spark plug in the driveway with my limited tools. Rewilder says, what year is this? Ours is having issues with coolant because everything is breaking, so why not more? It's a 2011 F250 with the 6.2 liter gas engine. So with the fact that truck has 16 spark plugs, with the fact that I have limited number of extensions and tools and I decided to make an appointment to get the plugs and the wires changed. Beyond that, I think I'm going to be able to troubleshoot most of the stuff myself if it doesn't clear the problem. Now, we are right in the range. If the plugs were changed on schedule by the previous owner, which I feel that it was because it was owned by a company and it did factory maintenance. Chris Dixon said, is that the engine that the plugs break off in the heads, or was that the 5.4 issue only? I think it was the 5.4 issue only, hopefully. But it's just it looked like a pain in the ass to get to number 4 and number 8, both the top and the bottom. And some of the bottoms were tough. So I was just like, I'd rather drop it off and let them deal with it. and once the plugs are changed, I can do troubleshooting with new boot. But if it still continues, I'm hoping that this clears it. Like I said, if the company did the maintenance on schedule, I think it was 97,000 that it was supposed to get changed. Last we bought it at over that amount, and so hopefully it was done before we bought it, and it's right in that wheelhouse again of another cycle where those plugs should be changed. So I'm hoping that it's a fouled plug. I'm hoping that it was dealing with some fouled plugs maybe the whole time. It doesn't really make sense with the rain causing a misfire and it being a plug. But now that it's obviously not being caused by the rain, I think that hopefully the plugs help, and at least if not, I can rule that out. Somebody else has done it, and I can troubleshoot further. Yeah, we'll see. But basically, the fact that it became a constant issue instead of intermittent, it kind of forced our hand. It made it more legitimate to take it to the garage. I couldn't bring myself to make an appointment knowing that I was probably going to drive it there and there was going to be no issues. The code would have been registered in the log, but you can't really fix something that isn't currently happening. I mean, I guess you can inspect it for signs of wear and tear. I can do that myself. I don't need to pay someone to do that. And now that it's actually happening all the time, hopefully there's an issue that can be fixed when it's at the shop. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Appointment couldn't get in till this coming Friday, so we're kind of hanging loose with the truck, not driving it as much as or driving it as little as possible till we can get that in. That goes in on Friday, so by next week's show, we should have an answer to the mystery question of what happened. John Palmer says make an appointment on a rainy day. Yeah, except it's like 9 days out when I make an appointment. So I'll be looking at the forecast, and I should make it for a sunny day because it seems like if they report it's going to be raining, it turns out fine, and the other way around. So that's what's going on with the truck. Hopefully that comes through at not a huge cost. I mean, the cost for the plugs and the wires and the oil change are enough, are definitely enough. When you got to buy 16 plugs. Oh, man. Yeah. Anyway, that's the truck. Let's move on to my new pastime, relaxy time pastime. Last week I talked about the Amazon Live channels, and I wasn't sold on them yet. Kori and I kept them. Now they're populating up in our recently watched stuff. So like when Kori's making dinner or we're hanging out, we're just sitting around after dinner, we're popping on some of these live channels on again. And some of them are all right. I mean, they're the shows that I watched when they were live, so it wasn't bad. We watched some Pawn Stars. We watched some other series shows like that. I think Antiques Roadshow is on there, this and that. But we made it back to the Ocho again, ESPN Ocho. And last time I was very disappointed in the Ocho. It was a spike ball I was telling you about that had the mini trampoline, and it was like a modified version of volleyball that was very difficult to watch. I did see some more spike ball that was a little easier to watch. They were actually using a yellow ball instead of a white ball. That made it a ton easier to watch. It still wasn't the greatest game to as a spectator sport. But they did have a better offering this week that I tuned into and made me a little more bullish on the ESPN Ocho. I got to watch some dodgeball. It was I think it was the US Open dodgeball tournament. That was interesting. What a difference from what we played as kids. But the dodgeball the organized dodgeball is quite an interesting thing to watch. It can go pretty quick. It can go. The games can be super fast. Chris Dixon says, "Got to be beach volleyball season soon." I think you can find beach volleyball anytime you want on the interwebs. I mean, you can. Are you trying to watch beach volleyball so you don't feel like dirty about watching porn or something? Because it's kind of close. It's kind of close. But the dodgeball, it was just interesting. It was entertaining to watch. Let's say that it was entertaining to watch. It was similar to what we played as kids, but the rules seemed a little different to me. And it could be just that I don't remember dodgeball that great. But the way they present it and they show the rules, they explain the game. But the announcers, the way they feel that this is the next coming of the World Series is interesting. It's very interesting. So, Chris Dixon says, I don't watch TV, but I've watched TV. Yeah. And then I also got to watch Ultimate Frisbee. It was odd. The Ultimate Frisbee was the U.S. Open, the Ultimate Frisbee U.S. Open. I'm not sure what year it was from, but it was from the Blaine Sports Center in Blaine, Minnesota. One thing that I've driven by 100 times. Kori and I were talking about it. She's participated in events there. Her brother's participated in events there. I've been a spectator in events there, but watched the men's, the women's, and the mixed parts of all three of those, the mixed men's and women's U.S. Open finals of Ultimate Frisbee. I've never played Ultimate Frisbee organized. I've played with some friends in college when we would just be bored and we'd play some Frisbee, which would turn into like a keep away, which looked very similar to Ultimate Frisbee. But learning more about that and watching these guys play, guys and girls, I guess, play Ultimate Frisbee at a level like that, I was like, oh, this is a pretty cool game. This is a pretty cool game for sure. And then pickleball. I've never played pickleball. This kind of evolved after I had checked out, I guess, when we were kind of on our own and not doing a whole lot in public, and pickleball has taken the world by storm. Learning the rules was pretty simple. It looks like a fun game. It looks like it could be fun. I didn't get to watch a ton of pickleball on there. It popped up at the one time when we were getting ready to do something else. I watched a little bit of it, got a basic feel for it. I think it could be a fun game. I really think there's a reason it caught hold and a lot of folks like to play it. But watching, so this was it came up. Here's the pickleball stuck in my head because it popped up, and we're watching probably 4 or 5 points in the game, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, this is mixed doubles. Must be mixed doubles or something. I thought it was a guy and a girl playing against a guy and a girl. You know, the mixed doubles. They play it in pool. They play it in all sorts of sports. And as I'm watching, it goes a little longer, and I said something. Kori's like, that's 2 women. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, it was the women's doubles. That was the women's doubles finals. It wasn't mixed doubles. So had a little whoopsie on that. So dodgeball, pickleball, and Ultimate Frisbee have changed my mind about Ocho, the ESPN Ocho. Way better than the hot dog eatings and the spike ball for sure. Chris Dixon says some city communities up here have tried to ban pickleball for noise annoyance. What, the tapping of the ball on the paddle? Is that the noise annoyance? My God. You're serious, right? I don't know. Things like that just irritate shit out of me. Let's see here. Oh, I got something going on. Let you guys know. I'm going to copy this and paste it into the comments here. So I started something up over on Noster the other day. I saw a rehash of Chris Dixon says, I guess it's the constant pop, pop, pop. I'm dead serious. That just hurts my brain. That hurts my brain. Throwing into the comments. Hopefully it works over on Noster, but anyway, we'll see. Oh, there it goes. Anyway, over on Noster, somebody brought back, and they had set this up a while ago, but they brought back a Zap Me a Cup of Coffee link. So basically, he had a template where you put in your NPub, and the link takes you to a landing page where you can zap people a cup of coffee. You can zap them 1, 3, 5, I believe, and each cup is $3. $3. I think it automatically calculates out to $3 in Satoshis. And it was something that he'd done before, and it kind of kicked around for a little bit. It faded away, and he remembered he had did it. It was like, hey, I should put this back out there. And so I saw it, and I was like, I have plenty of coffee. I don't necessarily need somebody to zap me a cup of coffee, but I do like to give away coffee. And so I did the math. On running it and distributing it, shipping, and all of the stuff. And I came to a conclusion. I think if I get zapped 10 cups of coffee, I'm going to take those people that sent the cups of coffee and put them into a drawing and send out a pound of coffee to one lucky winner on that. I know that the 10 cups of coffee come to just over what a pound would cost. But it was a nice round number. I wasn't going to go, for every 8.5 cups of coffee I get zapped, I will send out a pound of coffee. Yeah, there's a little carriage tax there. But anyway, if you're over on Noster, if you want to try coffee, and I'm sorry for the Canadian folks that can only ship to the United States, but you're more than welcome if you win to pick somebody to send it to. But I'm just going to leave that up there all the time. Every once in a while, I'll mention it, but zap a cup of coffee, and as those accumulate, I'm writing down the NPubs they're coming from, the addresses they're coming from, and when I hit 10 cups, I'll give away a pound, and when I hit 10 cups, I'll give away a pound. So that is just something that popped up in my head. I thought it was a good way. If you want a chance at a pound of coffee for $3, it's not bad. It's I think it's retailing, and coffee prices are going through the roof, guys, just so you know. Stock up. Here's the thing. If you drink like Folgers or something like that, stock up, because I'm guessing the price is going to go up here pretty quick. I know prices on fresh beans are going parabolic, so be prepared, guys. You heard it here second. Maybe you heard it here first, but anyway, zap me a cup of coffee and be entered into a chance to win a pound. Anyway, move on here. Kori, yesterday, day before. It was the day we went down and got groceries and picked up some supplies to start a garden. So Kori decided enough was enough, and she is ready to grow some things again. And I think last year we dabbled in it. It was more me doing some experiments with growing some greens. Kori was done with it, and she needed some flowers. She needed to grow some stuff. So we talked about it. we decided we were going to grow some stuff in the pots that I retrieved from Delinquents Gully. Some of the pots, the fruit trees that we planted in the fall came in. We stored all the pots and several others that we've accumulated along the way. So when we went down to town to grab groceries, we picked up some plants. We decided this first round, and I'm guessing more will be done this coming weekend, but this first round, we grabbed a couple of pepper plants, a jalapeno and a cayenne. Hopefully grow those out, and I would really like to keep them as perennials. Bring them in and out. I probably end up having to get it into a larger pot. I'm not sure on either one of those. It might be in a pot that's big enough, but we'll keep an eye on it. But we would like to overwinter them inside, move them in and out, either in a greenhouse or into the house, and keep those as perennial bushes. But we use a lot of jalapenos, and we also enjoy fresh pepper flakes and making hot sauce. So we started a couple of those plants to just to dabble in. She grabbed some lettuce, some leaf lettuce, and we'll definitely be grabbing more of that. We have some seeds stashed out at DG that I needed. I forgot to grab last time, and so we'll grab those. Start some different leaf lettuces and things like that, greens, which we're eating quite a bit of now that we've transitioned back into eating better. And then she started growing some fresh herbs. She picked up some cilantro, some oregano, and rosemary, I believe, is what she started out with. And then she needed some color, wanted some color, so she picked up a bunch of marigolds and got those planted. So she got those all planted up into the pots, and we have them out by the camper. I'm excited. She perked up. It's one of those things that we really struggled with when we left the farm, was losing the food security. And we're excited to get out to the property to do the gardening that we want. We've gotten to where we've decided that we're not doing market garden. I mean, we'll sell if we have any extra, but basically the intent will be for us, and for us only, and with a little bit of buffer that you have a good season and you have a little extra. But we just needed to grow something, and Kori especially, she was really missing the growing it. So I'm excited to start new types of growing when we get out to the property. I'm excited to do some aquaculture, some things that weren't possible in Minnesota because of the freezes in the winter. I think here we can experiment with a lot of different stuff without having to deal with the sub temperatures. But we can always grow them in soil, and we picked some stuff that could easily be grown in pots and transferred, moved, and cared for. So we have our little garden out here behind the camper. Also did some testing on some products this weekend. I posted in the group, I think early last week. I got a couple of new things from Lever Gear. Lever Gear, if you remember, sent me out this little keychain knife that has the X-Acto blade style knife in it. It has this type of blade in it, retractable. And that goes on your keychain. It wasn't really anything that fit into my EDC, and I talked to the company. I said, "Man, you got a great little product here. It's just in tough competition with my pockets, with my my OHT from Leatherman, and the Gerber that Pip sent me, things like that. Like, my everyday carry is pretty set, so it's a tough spot to get into. We do have two of these. One of them stays on a keychain, and they work great. But they asked if they could send out some other stuff and work together again. And like I said, I told them, my EDC stuff is pretty set. But what do you got? And he sent me out this little tool clip, or a keychain clip here. another style keychain that they have that has a bottle opener. This holds hex bits over here on the side, and it's got some screwdrivers and pry bars and cord cutters and things like that. So that's a neat little keychain. And then he also sent me out this tool card. It's called a tool card. They do. It's got something. I think it says 42 different tools on it, and then it also includes a money clip on the backside. And if you're not watching the video, you can check out Lever Gear, Lever, Lever Gear. If you want to check them out on YouTube or on Amazon, you can. If you would go to thelotsproject.com and click on the banner, if you're shopping on Amazon today banner, before you go check it out, I would appreciate that. I'll get a little credit for anything you buy when you click on that. Thelotsproject.com right there on the homepage added. Doing shopping on Amazon today, click here. That's all you got to do. Mike's Homestead said, check temps for tomorrow night. I did not plant this weekend as temps were showing mid-30s. The rest of the 10-day lows were 50s and 60s. I did see a low temp. Kori is all over that. We'll be able to take care of that. Where they are at the camper, I think we could even scoot them inside the skirting and just to avoid a frost. I think we'd be all right. We were 39 the night we planted them, and they have been they seem like they've been outside at Lowe's on the rack, and we just picked starts up at Lowe's, and yeah. Anyway, so Lever Gear, I've been checking out those two things. They were pretty cool. And then I was checking out this stuff. It's called shungite. I don't know if anybody's heard of it. Here's a little pyramid. Shungite pyramid. This company sent me this stuff out. I don't know much about it. It spurred an interesting conversation over on Noster. I asked if anybody had any personal experience with shungite. And it spurred a conversation between two gentlemen that I was like, wow. One was a guy, he was pretty decently. John Palmer says, I recently started carrying a Nifx 4-inch Cobra pliers, and they're terrific. The Cobra pliers are terrific. I don't think I've ever used a 4-inch. That sounds like it'd be a nice little pocket carry. My one-hand tool, the pliers in it, I've been perfectly happy with. And the fact that I can just pull it out of my pocket, slide open the pliers. It's not a fold-open butterfly style. I don't even have it's in my pants over on the other side of the room. I've gotten so used to it. I don't know. Do you have enough daily use for the Nipx that is just pliers? I don't know if I could allocate the room in my pocket for a one-trick pony like that. Or do you use the pliers for multiple things? Maybe you have a different set of circumstances than I do. I just don't know if I could justify the juice. Where's the squeeze there on the Nipx? Maybe you got a lot more. Maybe you got a lot more with that. Anyway, start to wrap. Oh, the other thing. So the shungite is basically it's a carbon, and the people that are promoting it say that it like absorbs. It absorbs the nasty rays from your computers, from your electronics, from your phone. People talking about EMF and Bluetooth frying your brain and all sorts of stuff like that. The shungite, I guess, they're claiming absorbs that. It's a filter, basically. I don't know. I've been having them sit here on my computer stuff for a couple weeks now, and I don't necessarily feel any different. So I don't know. But the conversation it spurred over on Noster was phenomenal. If you're over there, you can go to my profile. You can go down and find the post about the shungite and read the read the conversation between these two guys. It's interesting. It's a lot more than I could cover right here. It was definitely a back and forth for a couple days. John Palmer says, I'm not sure how I feel about your pants are across the room. I have shorts on right now. My pants are over there. So it is what it is. And then the last product that we started checking out yesterday was a dog pen. I have a company that's sending me out their intent. The product they actually want me to do a review on is a new gate that's designed to go under RV stairs. So one of the big issues when you get these dog pens, these collapsible fenced in areas for the dogs at RV parks or outside your RV, is you could kind of, to get it to go behind the stairs, you had to dick around the stairs to drop out of the RV. And to cover the underneath, so the dogs could escape underneath the camper in that direction. Well, this company came up with a gate that has removable bars. And one fence section goes under the seat, and it's underneath the steps. It's adjustable to kind of fit and close in all the gaps. That one's on back order, but they want me to review that. But in order to do that, they needed to send me the whole playpen. So they sent that out. That showed up first, and I got it out of the box so it could just sit outside. And basically, these are 27 inch panels that every other one is hinged. So they're two panels that hinge together, and then they have loops on the ends, and there's spikes that go through the loops and then push into the ground. And basically, it's like a big puppy pen. The one they sent me is 32 inches tall, and it comes with 16 panels, which makes 4 9-foot sides. So 81 square foot. I was digging in. They actually sell shorter ones down to 24 inches tall and all the way up to 45 inches tall, which yesterday when we had our boys out in the 32-inch one, it looked kind of silly. I don't think we'd ever leave them in it. We had them on leash inside it with us just in case. But the 45-inch tall one might be appropriate for our guys. I don't know necessarily how much it would be for an everyday full-time RVer, but for weekend trips in the RV, I think it'd be great. It was pretty easy to set up. It is kind of heavy and bulky. But I'm interested to see this new gate that's on back order when they send that out. Chris Dixon says 32 inches tall, so Clyde could just step over it. Leap over it very easily for sure. But it's a cool little fence. I think I see a lot of uses for it, and we'll definitely hold on to it and make use of it when Kori gets more puppies, because Kori will end up getting more puppies. Just it's the way it's going to be. So those are some products I've been looking at. I get some stuff out about those. Been working on some podcasting courses and content there over on the website. Got 3 episodes of Direct to Tour coming out this week, as always. So it's been a busy week. It's going to be a busy week coming up. I'm excited to get that truck looked at. If you missed any of the show, you want to go back and read. We talked about going around, walking about on Delinquents Gully to see what the rain damage was from those huge rain events we had, our truck troubles and what happened with that and what forced our hand to get it taken into the garage to get it fixed. Watching some dodgeball, pickleball, and ultimate frisbee has changed my view of ESPN Ocho, and Kori has started up a garden. All right, Chris. Have a great week and drive safe. Have fun picking up your trucks. Talking about the camper garden and some of the products we're looking at. I covered the buy one, get one free, double your order over at comfreyroots.com with code NoFoolin, NoFoolin. NoFoolin gets you buy one, get one free on all orders at comfreyroots.com. And the Zap Me a Coffee promotion with the link down in the video description. Every 10 cups I get zapped, I'm going to be sending out a pound of coffee. So Another week, guys. Another week. It's going to be a busy one this week, even though I don't have a lot of transportation until Friday when we get the truck fixed. So we'll be pounding away a lot on the website, getting stuff done around here on the camper, getting some product videos and reviews up. I hope you have an awesome week. I hope it's productive. Weather's starting to turn around here. It's getting really nice. I hope it's getting better where you are. Be sure you like the channel. If you could do me a favor and share the episode if you enjoy it, if you enjoy listening to the show, if you could send this on to somebody else that you think would like it, I would appreciate that. I hope you have a fantastic week, and we will talk again next Monday morning.